Well, we've heard about the Bombers, the Bulldogs and the Blues. We've heard about the Tigers, the Cats and Kangaroos. And we've heard about the Magpies, Cazaly and the rest. But Melbourne, you see nothing. Now Sydney's got the best. Show it to them, Sydney. Show me all the Swans. Show me all the winners. Get up where you belong. Show it to them, Sydney. Give them 2 or 3. Show them what we're made of. And give them one for me. Show them, show them, show them, show them. Show it to them, Sydney. Show them you're the Swans. Show them you're the winners. You're the mighty Swans. You show them, Sydney.
Coming from Sydney, a lot of us are so lucky that we've got 2 teams, so I'd love to see an Essendon and a Swans grand final. And I'd walk there if I had to. Club teams.
We got done.
Can the Swans?
Yeah, we live in Melbourne.
Yeah, we just came up here to see the game.
Yeah.
So you've been original South Melbourne supporter?
Yeah. Come from Newcastle, I think it's pretty good. Swans winning this year. Pretty good. Showing the Melbourne people up.
I'm originally from Wagga, but I've lived in Sydney 5 years and I've followed the Swans ever since they started up here. A lot of the fellas are from Riverina way, and so I sort of support them.
The reason I come here is because it's such an exciting game. I don't hardly ever know the rules. I've played rugby league nearly all my life, and I find it easy to follow, so that's why I watch it. There ought to be more of it.
It's a great game. It's so fast moving. It doesn't stop and start like rugby league.
I never think it's a balanced game if you have an unbalanced audience. It's so hard.
It's a long way to come from the fourth time I've come up.
That's right, yeah.
And it's really taken on.
Behind the scenes, away from the glamour of the field, the tension is released from the hard grind of the game. Injuries are tended. The fans clamour for attention and the game is discussed and evaluated.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Be a jockey.
Jockey, are you?
Yeah.
That's all right. As long as you win a few, give me a few tips.
Yeah.
I'll win a few million.
To many people, the Swans are already a Sydney institution. Yet not long ago, they were South Melbourne, a team that had not won a premiership since 1933. In that year, they won with a team recruited from all over Australia, called the Foreign Legion, the first VFL team to buy players and win a flag.
The meeting match.
In these days of private ownership, football is a business, and the pressure is on. Part of that business is public relations, and the football stars are in demand.
Windows like that, just big 2 weeks now.
Yeah, Carlton and Hawthorn, big effort.
Yeah.
Did that play a percentage much?
Yeah, what?
Yeah, you're just behind Hawthorn, just behind Hawthorn.
Australian football originated among Irish miners on the Victorian goldfields in the early 1850s, using elements from Gaelic football. Because the ground was so rough, an aerial game seemed best. In 1855, a set of rules was formulated by Wills, Harrison, Hammersley and Freeman. The first game under these rules was played at Jolimont, near where the MCG now stands. The South Melbourne Club was formed in 1879 and was one of the 6 foundation members of the Victorian Football League. In their long history, they won only 3 VFL premierships. The club, however, is famous for its outstanding individual players, including Bob Pratt, Bob Skilton, Laurie Nash, and the legendary Cazaly.
And it gives the public the sort of standard of entertainment and sport that they deserve. I think that's one of the reasons that we're beating the pants off the opposition, is because we really tried just a little bit harder.
First time as well, I think. Yeah, is it? First goal ever.
How do you feel kicking your first goal today?
I can't see why I couldn't have done it early after 215 games. It's so easy. No, I'm really pleased. Fantastic. I'd hate to be the first league player to play 200 league games and go through a career without kicking a goal.
See, Huck, I told you get one. Now he's got one too. Grab him. Is yours the same as mine?
Locating in a new city has meant hardship and difficulties, but most of the players have adjusted to a Sydney lifestyle with good humour. The club has obtained jobs for some players, including those like Mark Browning, who are employed by the Swans to develop Australian football amongst young people in New South Wales.
Yeah. Geez, that's light. You played away in the breeze.
We are all not only teammates, but we're friends as well. And I think you fight a little bit harder. The better teams are the ones where everybody is, say, closely related, or there's a big bond of friendship. Like, I've been connected with sides, and I look at my own particular case as a former player at Richmond, where we were a bottom team when I was a player. I hardly knew my teammates. And yet when I was coaching with the Tigers in the late 60s and early 70s, every say 21st or wedding was like a club function, because everybody was so close together, and as a result the team was, you know, a lot better, one of the better teams in the competition. And I think they're the things that we've got to try and get them to be, friends as well as teammates.
As a disciple of the late athletics coach Percy Cerity, Tom Hafey emphasises fitness for his players. Training is a big part of the team's performance. They all strive for perfection.
Good boy. Jack.
Through the season, the players train at least twice a week in addition to any matches they play. And in summer, 4 nights a week.
Up. Jack.
Well, every side that Hafey's coached has always tackled well, but I know that Hafey did co-op a few of the rugby league boys to teach, or to improve their tackling, and of course that's helped them tremendously. They are one of the best tackling sides in the league.
We're probably a little bit fortunate that being in Sydney and in such a rugby-orientated city, we've been able to utilise a lot of the rugby tackling drills, and also get people down from the rugby who have helped us to no end. And I think also the very fact that we've continually put it in the players' minds about the strength of our tackling, and that's probably been a help. I think in the past the Swans have been always a very committed team, but haven't had the manpower, and I feel that this year we've been able to get that manpower in, and plus our hard tackling, and the team as a unit have done so well. I think it's, you know, we've been pretty lucky that way.
That's it. 1 right. Go hard. 2 right. Go hard. Go, Lumper. 3 right. Come on, Lumper, here. Harder. Get your momentum up. 1 left. Go 1 left. 6 right. 6 in with. Get your shoulder in. 2 right. Come on. In hard. Get around it. That's the way. 5 left. Come on, think about it.
What we try and do is get the players teaming together. I think that's the important thing. And this is one of the reasons why I like all team games, because irrespective of whether you're the first selected or the last selected, you're just as important and just as vital to each other. So we make that point loud and clear. Everybody's got to obey the rules and the disciplines laid down by the club or laid down by the coach. There's no rules for the rich and rules for the poor in team games, whether it be netball or surf crew, in our case, football. You've all got to do it together and you share in it. And even though it may not be one of your better days, but as long as you keep on putting in, trying your darndest, the little thing that you may do might be the reason why we get up to win. And I think that these are the things that, as I said, statistics don't mean a thing as long as we're all doing the team things together.
Come on, keep still. Yeah, there's plenty of life, Spanner. Hey, when I get revenge, look out.
Horsing around is one thing, but the work is real. It wasn't so long ago, however, But in 1980, South Melbourne divided against itself over the issue of moving north. The club was in severe financial trouble, and it became obvious that something would have to be done. The old working class followers of the club were moving out, and in their place, South Melbourne was becoming populated by migrants and by a young, affluent middle class.
In 1980, we had a deficit in the club of $500,000, and it didn't look to me as chairman of the club that we could get out of it without making some sort of move.
The solution chosen by the club's committee in 1981 was to move north to Sydney, thus becoming the first VFL club to launch a national competition.
And unfortunately, when the public meeting was held in the Caulfield Town Hall, we lost the election by 30 votes.
The club's extraordinary general meeting was held last night. The Caulfield Town Hall was packed to capacity as more than 1,000 members of the South Melbourne Football Club squeezed in to hear both sides of the debate. After hearing 4 speakers, 2 for the Keep South at South group and 2 for the existing club committee, members were required to vote yes or no to the 4 resolutions put to them. One of the resolutions was that the current club committee be removed from office immediately. Members voted on the way out of the hall, and after counting some of the votes last night, the Keep South at South group looked to be well ahead in the race. But then today, with the counting of more than 1,300 proxy votes at a solicitor's office, the battle evened up, and it was clear the future of the club could go either way. Then late this afternoon, the chairman of the South Melbourne Club Limited, Jack Marks, and the chairman of the Keep South at South group, John Keogh, announced the decision after all votes had been counted.
On behalf of the outgoing committee, I extend my best wishes to the new committee and hope for great success for the club in the future.
Yeah. Very, very pleased with the outcome. We must always remember that the club is bigger than the individual.
The new board of directors who finally won their battle will meet on Friday to discuss future plans for the club. Certainly one item that won't be on the agenda is a proposed move to Sydney. Peter Mitchell, National 9 News.
The old administration that had made the decision to go to Sydney was thrown out of office and a new administration came in. They immediately applied to the VFL to reconsider its decision. They asked for permission for that to be changed. Some of the VFL clubs that had supported the original move to Sydney changed their mind, but there were still enough votes around the VFL table to support the move to Sydney. And that's virtually where the South Melbourne Club became reborn as the Sydney Swans in 1982.
What happened, we had an election and the Keep South at South movement won. They appointed John Rantell as coach, and they called a meeting, I think it was on the following Monday. And knowing that a few of the guys wouldn't be able to make it, and really we hadn't had a chance to talk amongst each other to find out exactly how each other felt. And we got to the meeting, and I asked the chairman of the meeting at the time if we could have 10 minutes to talk amongst ourselves and just get a general feeling before we listened to what the committee had to say. And he said that, no, you could talk later. So I really wasn't interested in that, and I walked out. And quite surprisingly to me, probably about 90% of the guys followed me, which, you know, I wouldn't have cared whether they did or not, but I just wasn't going to put up with it.
We did meet with the players and try to put our point of view and our case across to them, which we were never successful at any stage. And then they did go on strike, they did revolt, they did say that they would not play unless the games were going to be played in Sydney.
It wasn't just a case of the players wanting to go. The committee realised that they were so financially down the drain that they had to go. And so from this point of view, I think, well, common sense played the part.
Well, the move to Sydney was pretty difficult for a start, but basically, we wanted to come to Sydney. We hadn't had success, and we saw this as a new chance for us all, so we're certainly looking forward to it. We knew there'd be problems, but I think with anything that you try, something new, you've got to put up with it. If the thing was going to be successful and we were going to come to Sydney, that we had to do it together, and that's what we did do. We were a united unit. A lot of players had offers from other clubs, you know, big offers, and really all the time the players kept one thing in mind. Two things actually, that A, we wanted to be together, and B, we wanted to be successful, and that was the thing that came right through. And I think even now, the way we're playing and the success we're having has certainly come out, because that unity amongst the blokes is still there.
We went to Sydney with the thought that the people in Sydney and the reaction of VFL football to Sydney would be exactly the same as what it was here in Victoria. And of course we found out very, very quickly that it wasn't.
The Sydney Swans quite obviously have some influential support.
Leaving behind the controversy, the renamed Sydney Swans were launched on the steps of the Opera House in a lavish style that was to become characteristic of the club.
Swans have attracted a $1 million sponsorship over 3 years after deciding to move north. On top of that, the VFL will mount an extensive campaign to sell the idea to the Sydney public, who up till now have been very much a league city.
Unfortunately, style was not enough, and the team's performance disappointed Sydney's love of winners.
Their team remain in Melbourne. Captain Barry Round is optimistic about the future.
All the players are really eager to just get up here and get on with the game.
Make it pretty hard on your lifestyle, though, isn't it?
Oh, I don't think so. You know, it's just another game of football on the weekend, and we've still got to do the training and that. We're sort of used to the hard grind.
I was the marketing manager at PBL, looks after cricket and a number of other things, and I was in the United States in July through September in 1984, and we were talking to people who own private sporting teams and to television networks and cable sport, and the idea came up that perhaps Australian football could enter into the private ownership area. We talked about the Sydney Swans and their financial troubles, and we watched some games on ESPN in America and put together a package that we thought would work for the Sydney Swans.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Sydney Swans.
So early in 1986, the Swans were launched on Sydney for the second time, again beside the harbour, but this time as the first club under private ownership. The new theme song was aired, the players were introduced, and the Swans were away once more. Dr. Jeffrey Edelston, one of the principal players in the move to private ownership, attracted considerable attention from the media.
Jeff, just before you go, can I ask you about
I think the Swans, they had to go up there. That was inevitable because the club was in such a state down here financially. And first of all, they had a lot of opposition from Melbourne people. And I just felt they were wrong in showing so much opposition. But now, since the private ownership of the club, they've marketed it very well up there. It's been an excellent job. And of course, we've seen by the crowds, I think 2 weeks ago, they passed the 200,000 mark. Now, the attendances were down for VFL last year and the year before, but they're up again now, and I think that's mainly due to the excellent crowds we've had up there in Sydney.
Every team needs its supporters, and especially its cheer squad. The Swanettes have been criticised as hoopla or froth and bubble, but these girls are professionals too, and they work hard at perfecting their routines. The Swanettes' job is to build support for the team by making a day at the football even more fun for the fans. From its humble beginnings on the goldfields and its long history as a form of rivalry between the Melbourne suburbs, Australian football has now become a national growth industry. With the listing of Powerplay, the owner of the Sydney Swans, on the Sydney Stock Exchange, a new source of funds for football has been created. The controlling interest in Powerplay is held by Westec, whose executive director is Philip Grimaldi. This has brought professional corporate management to football.
Powerplay doesn't have any influence in picking of the team or in the team at all. Has absolutely no bearing on the team at all. We stick to marketing. We let the football guys worry about the football team and the running of the football team, and all we worry about is the actual marketing and making money, keeping the thing running, promoting the game, putting bums on seats. That's all we're really interested in.
Mate, the breeding's not the best.
It's about hit the leg.
Francis Bacon.
I think it's going to be all over very quickly, mate. The Billy Dancer's got him.
By going to Sydney, the Swans spearheaded the drive for a National League of Australian football. The price they pay is many hours of motel living. The benefit is a closer comradeship among teammates.
If you get the money, you just give it back in a cheque, and they're all happy because they got it. And either way, they either get it to take on the trip or they go on the trip, one or the other, don't they?
That's right.
We've got to have tremendous spirit and morale, and that can only come about by the players doing it all together, getting a love and a feeling for each other. And this is one of the things that we push up as far as the motivation goes. In our particular case, we're hungry for success. The Swans have had no success for many, many years, and I feel that that's one of the motivating forces right now. They're practically self-motivated to do so well, and I think we've been pretty blessed by the good character of the people around the place. There's very little confusion in what the players have to do. We don't make many flash rules and theories. It's all pretty basic. We just help each other as much as we possibly can, and we try and play up the centre of the ground as much as possible. So players don't have to go worrying about what they've got to do. And we try and beat our opponents instead of being on top of them all day long and having a little theory here, there, and all this sort of thing. We just try and take the confusion completely out of it, and I think it's pretty basic what we do.
Even away from home base, more than the players are involved in the next game. All the trainers, masseurs and entourage are involved in preparing the team. Tommy Hafey constantly checks and encourages all his players. To many, he is more than the coach. He is a father figure.
Well, I think the coach is probably going to be a father figure in a lot of cases, and particularly in a case like mine where I'm so much older than the players. I suppose it's only natural that they're going to come to you with some little problem which you may be able to help with the experience that you've had, and also because you've got to get to know them pretty intimately and know their family and know what they do and know their little problems, and encouragement as far as loss of form, maybe out of the team, injuries can upset them. So there's many things that go to make the player, say, come and, or you see where they are down, and you've probably got to notice that pretty smartly. And as I said, the word of encouragement a lot of times, and maybe sitting down and having a good talk to them, or maybe invite them home to dinner, going to their place, and getting on the phone and things like that. These are all the things that I feel can probably help a player.
Despite the move to Sydney, the Swans have many loyal fans in Melbourne, some from the old South Melbourne days and some new ones.
There's tremendous rivalry between Sydney and Melbourne teams, and that's been going on with Sydney and Melbourne for 100 years, and that's great. But before that, when they were struggling, because of our direct telecast of a Sunday, you found that people were adopting the Swans as their second team, providing they weren't playing against your side. If they were playing against your side, well, then you were against them. But if they were playing somebody else, other than your side, you hoped to God that they'd win, and that'd give your side a better chance.
Always, it's the game that counts. But few people realise the effort to get the team to this stage.
important thing these days is to give people value for money, give them fun, give them the opportunity to really enjoy themselves and go home as a family unit happy with the day. The growth in memberships this year has been huge. We've grown from about 1,800 members to nearly 6,000 members. As far as attendances go, we've grown from, with this game, there was 7,000 last year, there's probably 40,000 plus this year. So the interest over the last 6 months has been enormous. It's grown rapidly and it'll grow next year probably even faster. It is essential for any sport to survive in Australia that we have a national competition. Australia is too small. No one city can support any number of teams. It's really a 1 or 2 teams per major city. Melbourne can probably support a few more, but without corporations supporting us, and most corporations these days want national advertising, they're not interested in statewide advertising. Television networks want national coverage, national networking. Media groups are all national. They send all their information broadly around the country. So without national sport and national competition, we'll be flagging. So we certainly need Australian football to go national as fast as possible.
Jimmy. All right, mate. How you going?
The miners on the goldfields would hardly recognise the complex business that has grown from their humble game.
It's good. It's been a good shift. Sydney, sensation like that. How long have you been here for?
About 3 years. You're right up there, are you?
Sydney? Yeah. Yeah, great spot. Great spot, yeah.
There's a mateship at the side is pretty good. You've got a bunch that everybody goes out after the match, these rules, and everybody generally hangs around with each other on the weekends and that outside of football, so it's a pretty close-knit bunch of blokes.
An all-Sydney team is one of the goals of the Swans management. Mark Roberts is the first Sydney boy to play for the first-grade team.
I think the New South Wales young blokes can think that they can make it if, you know, someone else can do it. They can think it's not out of their way. They can, it just gives them a bit more confidence, you know, thinking their back's thrown against a wall and they want to actually do it.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I have a cheque account here and I also want to open a key card account. Could you tell me a bit about that, please?
To motivate myself, I don't usually do it on the day of the game. We've usually done it the night before, prepared for it with my psychologist lessons, you know, motivation through hypnosis. So on the day I don't really do that. I just go through a normal routine.
Liking myself simply because I exist.
The pressure can be so intense to win that Mark goes to his own psychologist for help.
Refreshed and remembering everything that we did. Counting now. 1, beginning to feel more awake, more alert, more tone coming back to the muscles. 2, much more awake, much more alert, more tone coming back to the muscles. 3, fully awake, fully alert, and remembering everything that we did. How was that, Mark?
Yeah, it was good, yeah. Good. Very small, relax.
Good.
Just to introduce ourselves, before we get going today, we've got here Craig Davis, Rhett Scott, Paul Hawke, Darren Mackesy, Craig Holden, Mark Browning, Steve Wright and Terry Mooney. My name's Dennis Carroll and we're here to take you through some of the basic skills of Australian rules football. Okay, would any of you children like to ask any questions about the skills clinic today?
How much times do you bounce the ball?
You have to bounce the ball every 10 metres. Okay, so if this field's 170 metres long, you'd bounce it 17 times. Okay? Yep, another one here.
When the ball goes out, how do you put the ball back in play?
We have boundary umpires, okay, 2 boundary umpires. If the ball goes over the line, they throw the ball back in. All right, now ruckmen go up and contest the ruck and tap it down to our little guys. If the ball goes out on the full, it's a penalty free kick to the other team. Okay, yep.
Do you do any training in the summer season?
Yes, that's probably our hardest time. We start training in November and we go for 4 nights a week. I don't think we can pick out one best player in our team, okay? We have 20 guys that run out in the ground every Saturday and they contribute to the team's winning performance. What we're going to do now is we're going to file off into our age groups, and these guys out the front here are going to take you through the different skills. And the skills we're going to go to do first is the hand pass. Okay, let's go. Come on, let's go. High group. Down there, boys. Mate. Down there. Okay. Up you go. Jump. Oh, that's all right. Good. A bit louder, Stevie. They can't hear you. Good handball. Up you go. Watch the ball. Good boy. On, Rocky.
One of the major tasks for the players is to develop Australian football in New South Wales schools.
When you're coming around that way, try your right. Right, up above your head. Come on, mate. Jump.
It is recognised that the youth of today are the players of tomorrow.
Good. That was better. Come on, Tanya. Up. That's good. Righto. On, mate. Jump, jump, jump. Good boy. Come on. Up we go. Good boy. Run at me. Come on, mate. Jump high. Come on, magpie. Good, that's better. Righto. Up we go. That's good. Go. Marcus. Good. Arms up. Handball. Ready? Hello. Good. All right. Good boys.
Okay.
Now smile for the photography.
Publicity is important, and the teammates are happy to have their photographs taken.
Well done. Very good. Hey, want to catch this? Try again.
Warwick Kappa spends part of his time recording songs, appearing on soapies, or like now, making a commercial. Warwick is helping a major sponsor of the club promote their product.
Okay, you guys ready to rock and roll in then?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, stand by.
Hello, I'm Warwick Kappa of the Hoover Sydney Swans, and as a footballer, I appreciate the value of playing with a winning team.
Warwick Kappa's a funk, I reckon. Warwick Kappa, yeah, he's a good man.
Yeah, and he kicks a lot of goals. And Warwick Kappa's a good fella.
You couldn't get a more colourful personality than Kappa, irrespective of what people say. He's tremendous. The crowd love him. And what brings people through the gates is a personality, and he's loaded with it.
I'm giving up a job at the council to work in transport with Merv Nagel over at Mascot, which should be quite good. And I like the outside life, and it should be more interesting. I train very hard. I train 10 months a year and about 3 nights a week, so can't get much more intense than that. We do about 10 to 15 miles a week, and pre-season we're running up to 3 or 4 days a week, so it's quite intense, but I'm pretty fit, so I don't mind. Time gives me certain things to do, like I've got to chase my opponent out as much as I can, put pressure on, hold the ball on the forward line, which is very important, which we are doing this year a lot better. That's why we're winning games. I think we have the best coach in the league. He's been around for many years. I don't think they gave him a fair go at Geelong, really, because they couldn't blame the coach. I don't think they had the players, but now we have both. We've got the best coach and the best players, so I think we can get the grand final.
Every precaution is taken for the players. They have to perform at top strength through a grueling competition. Any injury can seriously affect the outcome.
Not over here, mate.
Ready there? Do you want to get your makeup or something on now? I think we should be doing all that.
Okay.
The pre-game tension is evident in the dressing room.
Anyway, as long as you may as well going to go up the centre anyway. Say 20 yards, like on the bloody momentum and going towards our goal.
Well, that's great goals out of that last week. One where Basie come out of the back.
Yeah.
Punch him down.
Yeah, that's
but there was
right.
heaps of talk.
That's what we've got to make sure we do.
You could hear the blokes saying knock it down. It was great.
Yes, mate. G'day, Warren. G'day, fine shooting.
I'll drive you to Gosford. I go, all right. I go.
Oh, I've only got one of them.
It's not only the players who feel the pre-match tension. Like any performer, the Swanettes ready themselves to go on stage.
No, Julie's at the other end.
For the cheers.
How does Julie know? Julie's not even on our end.
Julie was the only person I had to teach me. Makes me.
Oh, but I'm in the back line. No, it wouldn't be good. Excuse me.
And we are delighted to announce that Rexona Australia, using the name Menage, which of course is well known to each and every one of you as the men's toiletries, have seen fit to take over the sponsorship of the Swanettes. We had many offers during the season, but please welcome the girls. We'll be doing the routine. Of course, that's only half of the girls.
Well, we've got a job each quarter. Let's just relax. A few deep breaths. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Come on, just take it easy. Let's get our mind on what's on today. Let's think about our own personal goals. As individuals, what we're required to do. Let's just visualise those two uprights. Those two uprights, let's think about them. That's where we're going to kick the ball. No behinds. Let's pair up. Back stretches, hamstrings. Get your mind on the job.
Pull your discipline. Run with your teammate and talk to him, boys. Back him up all the time. Just run behind him. That's all you've got to do. Don't have to knock anybody over. Run behind him.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Menage Swanettes. Give them a big round of applause.
The Sydney Swans would like to welcome you to the Sydney Cricket Ground. For your information, all reserved areas have now been sold. Tickets are still available for the outer ground, adults being $5 and concessions $1. Children under 10 years of age are free. Access to this area is available via the outer ground entrance at the southern end of the Barongal stand. Thank you for your attention.
And outside, there are still long queues of people. So I think that we could have a record crowd here, not only for Australian football, but one of the biggest crowds that's ever been at this ground.
And you as individuals, as Big Johnny,
Hip side to side.
Mervyn Nagel, David Bolton.
Well, they're going to win their spots back now. They're going to win it back.
That's right. You've got the chance, fellas. To, if they come back, it's not going to be at your expense. Remember that. It's up to you. Money, 100%. 100%.
We're going to block off that other side of the ground. Everybody, don't forget that. I'll use it. That's where it happens.
Yes.
He said this lunch is a little larger than what they have in Melbourne, and I'll have to check that out when I'm next down there with you, Ron. But may I just say this is, as Bob Pritchard has said, the most important game for the VFL in Sydney this season, for Australian football, which will eventually assume the title of, and it's certainly the most important game by definition for the Sydney Swans. But our prime hope should be that it's a good game of football, that it gives this massive crowd good entertainment, and they all go home happy and wishing to come back to the next game.
Concentrate. Graduates. Sideways. I've got it. Come on, get it up. Come quiet. Look out, keep the shoulders going. Let the tackles, we hit them around the balls area. Look out, no head-eye tackles. Down the guts. Tackle them hard. Jog. Come on, we're going for 20. Come on, we're going for 20. Go in. We're going for 20. No chance. Let's get it going straight off. Ready? And no bludgers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
Sel, what do we have to go to the shop?
Hawking! 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 Hawking!
Now, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget the...
Bring them around! Get around the edge! Around the edge! Lower! Go lower! 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 Come here! Hold it!
Wake up, catch a bus into the city, hard labor. I spend my days working and sweating on the factory floor. I don't mind, cause I don't owe nobody no favors. 5 o'clock, I'm walking out the door. Feet are fine night, and the mood is right. We're gonna shake 'em up, shake 'em down, shake 'em over in bebop town. Gonna shake this city, shock this town. We're gonna turn.
Come on, boys, get it going now. All together. Real clean stuff here now, boys. Bruce.
Shock this city, shake this city to the ground.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Menage Swanettes to the Sydney Cricket Ground. They'll be with us each and every time the Sydney Swans score this afternoon, which no doubt will be very regular.
Boys, come on.
Chambers, Will Tottenham, John Telmy and Malcolm Stewart.
Showmanship has arrived. The razzle-dazzle may be changing the spectacle of a day at the footy, but the game goes on. And this is it. The preparation is over. The motivation, the diet, and the training have all been done. Now they are going to find out if it was enough.
Well, we've heard about the Bombers, the Bulldogs and the Blues. We've heard about the Tigers, the Cats and Kangaroos. And we've heard about the Magpies, Kazali and the rest. But Melbourne, you see nothing. Now Sydney's got the best. Sydney! Sydney! Show it to 'em, Sydney. Show 'em you're the Swans. Show 'em you're the winners. Get up where you belong. Show it to 'em, Sydney. Give 'em 2 or 3. Show 'em what we're made of. And give 'em
Stay on Hawthorn.
Show 'em. Show 'em. Show 'em. Show it to 'em, Sydney. Show 'em you're the Swans. Show 'em you're the winners. You're the mighty Swans. You show 'em, Sydney.